Welcome to another video of me cooking. I'm gonna make this a series. For today's food, you're gonna need a bowl, something to mix eggs with, a spoon, some flour, and eggs. And I will be teaching you how to make this. It is a very simple meal. First step, you're gonna need to crack the egg. For this recipe, I am going to be using 3 eggs. Three big eggs, so it's gonna be enough. Now you start mixing. You can add salt now or later. If you want it plain, you can do that also. I am going to be using this salt. Need to grind this up. About this much will do for now. If you want more, you can grind up more. You can also use regular salt and pepper, but I don't use them because I have better things. This is not required, it's option. What is required is the flour. It is white, as it should be. It's not a racist comment. It's just supposed to be white because it's a fucking powder. Now you're gonna be mixing until it's mixed. I'm gonna do this so you can see and I'm actually mixing this by hand. You want it to be a certain consistency before adding the next tablespoon of flour. The flour, it needs to be well mixed with the egg. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be mixed in enough so there aren't like big clumps in this mixture. When it's about this consistency, it looks better on off camera. About this consistency, we're going to be adding a second spoon of flour. I'm gonna add a little bit more. but don't make too much if you're using a small pan. If you're using a small pan, then make less, because it's just not gonna be able to fit. That's oil. You're gonna need some oil. You can do it without oil. I use it with. This is how it's looking right now. The longest part, you can start preheating the oil, because it does require a little bit of work. Well, of course you're gonna be cooking this. Now you're gonna be mixing until you get when the entirety is mixed. There is no like flour on this side. For me, I like a little bit more salt, so I'm gonna add some more salt. Be careful not to add too much. Today I went to the store and deposited 51 bottles. You just need to keep mixing until all of the wheat is as mixed as you physically can. It should look a little bit like pancake batter when you've almost done making it. About this will do. You can taste it. Perfect. Now, we're gonna need to start heating the oil. My oil. Let's turn the heat on to the biggest setting you can, just so you can hold up. You want it to be hot so it instantly starts cooking. It smells like, oh yeah, there was, at my door there was a man, he was advertising his apples and potatoes, which is fine. You gotta do what you gotta do for make money. I'll cut back in when you want it to just be hot. You want it to be hot. The oil needs to be hot, but you do not want it to be evaporating. I'll cut back in when that happens. To heat up the oil, it's gonna take like 2 to 3 minutes. And now I'm gonna put away a pot so you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully my phone does not fall into that crack. Batter, haven't touched it. Now, don't do that with a fork. Do it with a spoon that you use to scoop up the flour. You can add more eggs if you need, but for a quick meal, this takes about 12 minutes to prepare everything. Because you're going to be mixing a lot of you're going to be mixing. I usually eat the batter. But now, how are you going to tell when it's ready to flip? And you're going to need to flip it. When the underside starts to brown. So you need to be here when it's cooking. Now I am gonna put on the lid and I'm gonna clean the dishes that I made just now. Being back in, it's almost ready to flip. It might actually be ready to flip. Now you flip with 2 spatulas, cause I waited a little bit too long. But now you do not want it burnt. This is a little overcooked. A little bit overcooked. You can see that the oil is hot, but it's not so hot that it's like evaporating the entirety. No, you do not want that. You can check the other side like this. I'm gonna cook it a little bit more. I call this primitive bread. Why? Because it's literally how people used to make bread. Well, not exactly, because they probably didn't have eggs. Now you take that off, stuff that in, grab the plate, instantly take it off the heat, and wait for it to cool. This is basically the finished product. Yes, the oil is very hot. Do not touch it. It will burn your hand. If you personally do not like the smell of what you just made, well, it's more like a smell that my mom really doesn't like. So I'm just ventilating it out, and there is some smoke, like you can see. I should not show that, but that's finished product, really. No chicken was harmed. Have a great day. Have a very good day, and I'm gonna be enjoying this meal, and I hope that you make this at home, because it's super easy and simple.